Adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming. It's a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives.
My name is Trevor, and I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Just remember, just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game over.
Welcome everybody back to the show. It's been a great week. Thanks to everybody who reached out and spoke with us. If you have Gaming Dad stories, if you want to catch up on the latest, find us on social at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. If you've been listening to a few episodes and want to support the show, honestly, a subscription on any of the services is definitely the best way, as in the free podcasting, not a Patreon or anything. But just to be clear, but a subscription and a like, a rating, and a comment goes massively. Would really appreciate it. But let's just dive right in. The Palworld continues to drive crazy numbers. You know, it has a bit of staying power, which is kind of cool to see. And just generally, the question I had for you was, how was your week in Palworld? Did you keep up with it? And did you introduce your kids to it this week?
Yeah, I will say I did keep up with it. And part of that was because I did introduce my kids to it.
They're keeping the pals alive. Really good.
Yes.
So what happened?
So my 10-year-old was extremely interested when I pulled it up. I'm like, oh, do you know about this game? And they kind of knew, whatever.
Of course.
And then it obviously looks very much like Pokemon. And there's like a lot of base building in it. And they're like, oh, I want to watch you play for a bit, right? And so we had a great time going around and exploring and stuff. But then it got to like, hey, what can you kind of do in this game? Can I like try it out and see? And then my base is on fire. Like my base is on fire.
Within minutes, they've destroyed it.
All gone, right? And they're like, all right, well, we'll rebuild that, because in this game you can't stop a fire once it starts. I think that everybody should know that. Once the fire starts, it doesn't stop. But they wanted to do other things. So I was more, approaching this game as like, okay, you got to kind of grind away. You got to get good pals. And then you go off to fight one of the bosses. And my 10-year-old doesn't want that. They want to see if they can fight the boss now.
Why would you build up? You just go. You just grok it.
Go and do it.
Yeah.
So we tried it out. I'm all right. And then, Trevor, I don't know if you've been in this game, but the first boss has like 30,000 hit points. So
30,000?
I was way under leveled for this thing.
I'm at the point where it's in the list of to-dos. Like I've kind of done all what they would consider the basics.
Yeah,
it's
the
like, all right,
parts. Yeah.
Yes, and the last one now is like go fight the boss. So I was kind of assuming, I'm probably powerful enough now. And it sounds like I'm nowhere close.
Nowhere close.
Okay. Thanks for saving me a bit of a painful death there. So your kids convince you to they're watching you play. Great dad fun. All right, let's play this together. And then it's hey, let me take over the wheel. And you did cartwheels into the ditch.
Basically, that's right.
And then you got goaded into trying to tackle a boss well above your level.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Had a blast doing it, though, Trevor. I mean, like, it was fun, but, like, not winning at this game anytime soon.
So that's so I've kept up with it, too. Like, not a huge gaming week, was busy. It kind of tends to be the case, but anytime I did, I was compelled to still go into it. Like, it still has me. It's still interesting. I'm curious about the grindiness of it. If at some point it's kind of like, I don't care to spend 8 hours just so I can create a second ice cooler for my whatever eggs. It's like, all right, I kind of, that's enough. But as for now, catching new pals, like trying to do some abilities, new things to build, seems like fun. The gap I've been trying to figure out is if to introduce it to my kids. I think because of the complexities, it would have to be a guided experience. As in,
I can see that.
Come watch Dad play this game, and I'm happy to be the chauffeur as far as like, hey, let's go over there, let's go catch. Like it's not like, no, we're gonna do what I want to do, and that's all I want to do is chop wood. It's like
right.
We're doing dad chores. That's what this game's about. So certainly happy to do that, but I'm just not sure is it too. It's not like old. I'd be curious of your thoughts of it. I'm trying to think about, is it too old for them? Is it almost like a tease because it's not something I think that they could play on their own, especially not my youngest, but maybe the 8-year-old, I could imagine him wanting to play it. Is that too young? Like, what's your kind of thought as I say that?
I think as somebody that experienced Minecraft as an adult and watched my kids decipher that game and the crafting system and understanding a lot of it at, around 8 years old, I would say that they could figure out the basics of this and kind of have fun with it that way. And they might not get into like the little nitty gritty stuff. And there's a lot of menus that are in weird spots, but I don't know. Minecraft was pretty complex to me. Like, as to build something, it wasn't as straightforward. You had to do the pattern to craft things and stuff. And this is like, no, you need these items to do this thing. Like, it's very straightforward. It's telling you what you need. You need to find wood and you need to find stone. Go to it. And I think they could find like the highlighted thing in the world. It might just become a little bit more frustrating later on if they can't go to, like, say, the boss because they want to like try it out and they just get flattened, or they go into a new area. They're like, hey, look, that big elephant thing, I want to capture that, and just stomps you, right? Like,
one shots you, like, lose all your progress.
Yeah, it might be a little bit, humbling.
All right, so what I might try this weekend then is an introduction. Let them watch me playing my game just to kind of gauge their interest.
Yeah,
be kind of what's kind of nice too is I could just entirely separate our saves. Like, I'll let them have the Xbox version because I bought the Steam one. Oh yeah. I'll say that as far as having this game mobile, it's been fantastic. Like, the Steam streaming to my phone and my controller, beautiful.
Nice.
It's a great game to just kind of chill out with.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Again, Steamdeck, I'm running this thing. And so just PSA to anyone with a Steam Deck, it does run well. Like, you can get it going on this thing, but if you dock it to a TV, which we tried out so that my 10-year-old could see, it doesn't look great.
Like all the graphics just like put way down.
All the graphics are like, because I'm using like the in-deck FSR to like boost the resolution internally, and on a 4K TV, it doesn't do the same effect as a tiny mobile kind of screen, right? So things are pretty muddy, and you can't read anything. Like, all those menus, good luck, not going to happen. So
good PSA. I'll say too, it's great that it's on Game Pass. I had a buddy of mine reach out. He's like, hey, I thought this was free, but he was trying to play it on. He was trying to buy it. He'd gone to Steam immediately. He thought it meant that it was a free to play.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's free on Game Pass. I had heard that if you try to stream it, there's like some 30 to 60 minute wait time to get in queue, just given its popularity.
Okay.
So it's probably best to budget a download basically for this thing.
Yeah.
Smaller the PSA for it. But hey, Gaming Dad's here, still into this game, as is the entire world apparently, as the numbers continue to climb. We'll keep checking in. If any Gaming Dads have stories out there, reach out to us at New Dad Gaming, newdadgaming.com. Now, this week, again, we are kind of running a bit late on the recording, but it's because we were curious to see what would happen at the PlayStation State of Play. Yeah. So there was a big event. Is this like a yearly event is there a cadence to this, or is it kind of just whenever they decide to do it?
It's kind of whenever they decide. They're like, hey, by the way, 2 days from now, there's going to be a show that we're just going to fly out there. Yeah.
So it's not the January State of Play. Really. Okay. No. So hopefully we'll start to receive our invitations in the mail, but as of now, we're watching it with the masses. And now I didn't watch it. I had no idea. I'm going in clean. I've seen a few things trickle through on social, but I was curious about what was. First, I believe you watched it, and if you did, like, what were some of the kind of key dad takeaways?
Yeah, so I did watch it. I actually watched it while I was cooking dinner, so it was something that I could just lay back and consume. But I will say, like, for the most part, like, if you're like a fan of older games, I think you would enjoy some of the stuff. Like Silent Hill kind of came back, so they showed a little bit of the Silent Hill games and a free-to-play version of that. There's some new games in there that I wasn't really like, I don't know, really thrilled with, but it was one of those shows where you're like, all right, I'm waiting for Final Fantasy VII. Why aren't you showing me Final Fantasy VII?
So I mean, I do want to dig into a bit of Final Fantasy VII, but the ones that most chatter about was Sonic,
Yep.
And then the Age of Ronin seemed to pique a number of people's interest. It seems a bit so Japanese samurai lore mixed with Dark Souls, which
Yeah.
I thought we've already had 2 games like that.
Well, there's Sekiro that was very much like that's from Soft, right? So that's Dark
Mhm.
Souls samurai-ness. And Ghost of Tsushima, which was similar to this, but more, you had more flexibility with the battle system. It wasn't as punishing. So this
Okay.
kind of looks like maybe like a hybrid of both, set in like I think the 1900s. So it's actually like a little bit more modern. And it looked neat. Like it had a lot of traversal, kind of cool.
Very
items to
Assassin's
play
Creed.
with.
The first clip it
Yes.
showed was the traversal over the rooftops, including like kind of like a Skywing suit, which was just
Yep.
it's like, wow, this is really aping Assassin's Creed, which is kind of great because Assassin's Creed doesn't really make good Assassin's Creed games anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of strayed far from that, and it's Team Ninja, right? So they know what they're doing on a fighting game like this. So it does look interesting. I will look like that's on my maybe list at some point.
Okay. So those are the ones that kind of anything else in particular that piqued your interest besides like your almost like lack of Final Fantasy.
I will say Death Stranding 2 or Death Stranding 2. If anybody likes Kojima and the craziness, this is ultra crazy again. The landscapes look beautiful, obviously using the new technology, but there's like a villain that uses a guitar that fights with lightning bolts.
The only image I saw during the whole week,
yes,
was of a woman having a cigarette, except she's smoking a cigarette with tiny blue hands that are attached to her neck.
Yeah, there's these hands that are almost like a scarf that work. So yeah, the character's design.
That'd be pretty sweet. I'll be honest, that'd be pretty sweet. I could really use a second set of hands. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's crazy Kojima. So if you any sort of fan that is into Death Stranding, Metal Gear Solid type games, look out for this one, right?
Okay.
But not for a year from now. It's 2025. So like
2025. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say this game is like just everybody take a look at this one. This is just absolute Kojima, peak Kojima, like just madness.
Yeah.
Which is always great to see. Okay, so besides lack thereof, like that was kind of lack of Final Fantasy, this was really your
that was really
takes.
Yeah, that was really it for me. Even like, they mentioned some of the Sonic Shadow game, but like that was pretty much it. It was very adult driven, not too much in the kid front, which was a little bit interesting. Usually they have like a flavor of each, right? So
I got you. No, so what is so Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? I was thinking about it to the point of which I was curious if they're going to launch it on the streaming platform day one. Because I adored. I don't know that it's coming to PS4.
It's not. No.
So I would have to play. I loved Final Fantasy VII, the remake. It was just one of my favorite games of the year that came out. But it was on PS4, so I could do it. Like I'd be willing to put in like I don't know what it'd be monthly. I think it's like $20 or $30 for the premium pass to get it streamed. But I almost think for that reason they would not put it on their premium live streaming bundle, right? It feels like they would try to drive console sales with it. No,
I think you're probably right on that. I didn't see any indication that it would go to a streaming. Like I think they would, somewhat advertise it a little bit, but who's to say? Maybe like that day is coming soon, launch day at the end of the month. So the one thing to note was that it was exclusive until like May. Maybe that means like exclusive, like, hey, you could buy it and then it goes to these other platforms, or maybe it goes to streaming.
Okay, that actually might be my play. Perhaps I just grab it for PC and just like buy it that way.
Right?
Could be the first like full. That could be the first full price game purchase in a year. I suppose since Diablo. Not that that's a year ago, but
it's almost a year.
Yeah, roughly.
Pretty much. We'll give it to you. How about that?
Right.
We'll give it to you.
Put it that way. So that could be the first time to break out the wallet because that game is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It is quite heavy in the hard drive.
pretty big.
space, 150 gigs. So that was revealed, and I had to clean off my PS5 a little bit to make room.
Are your kids interested in this series, this new Final Fantasy series?
So my 10-year-old,
this new old Final Fantasy
the new
series?
old one, yeah. My 13-year-old not at all interested. 10-year-old, when they were 9, played through Final Fantasy 7 remake all the way to the end. So they might be interested in picking this one up, especially because it's some more of the open world stuff. So you're not, in this linear kind of chapter to chapter thing. So they are interested. I don't want okay, so just sidebar here, because they have way more gaming time. And I know we've talked about that, right? I don't want them playing this necessarily right away, because they will move ahead and spoil me and be like, hey, look, Sephiroth killed, and like, shut up, don't say anything. I want to know if they changed it. Shh, quiet.
Oh man, that is like that is the classic, almost like it's a sibling thing come back to haunt us, because I know there was if you have a game shared between siblings,
yes,
there's always that duality of like, okay, don't go too far without me. And
right,
that whole dynamic has now been transferred to our kids, where it's like, all right, I want to play this one. And you can't keep a secret, so
no,
like, you're just not going to be able to play it until I'm done, which on dad time could take an extra month, which is going to drive them nuts.
Yeah, if anyone, again, anyone listening to the show, it does take us, not weeks to finish a game, more like months if we finish a game. So, yeah, my 10-year-old won't be able to hold a secret, and will like, press for like, oh, did you get to this part? And we're like, no, shut up, no, nothing.
Now let's say that this worked on almost thinking about that dynamic, because the Steam Deck, as best I've come to understand, is kind of kids off. Right, like the Steam Deck is very much a Jeff Dad only console, right?
Yeah.
Would you ever consider getting this Final Fantasy game for PC rather than PS5?
Probably not, just because I don't think the Steam Deck would be able to handle the fidelity that I'm kind of looking for.
It's a big event, like it's something. It's not like it's Stardew Valley, where it's not so much about the visuals. This is about the visuals.
This is about the visuals, and it has to be like, I don't know. I'm used to that smooth kind of, nature of Final Fantasy Remake on PS4, PS5, right? So I kind of need that spectacle with this, and especially some of the events, right, will be like.
But then your kids can't touch it, Jeff.
I know. I know.
It's like setting up a special electric fence around like this precious gem of yours. It's almost like you just need to move the PS5, like you need to create trumped up charges. It's like, listen, you've been disrespecting your mother, so you lose PS5 for a month and a half.
That's
maybe 2 months. Depends.
Yeah. I'll let you know. Yeah. But you're right. Like, I don't know why there's no. I'm still waiting for like folders or hidden, ways to do that through play. If Sony's listening, if they could just put that dad mode in to hide games. Or even gift games or whatever, right? Separate that out a little bit. That'd be great.
Because like what's going to happen. They'll overwrite your save. They'll get too far. Like,
yes,
all but guaranteed.
All that stuff, right? Like everything.
Yeah. All right. Now moving on to a safe game that we can all play together. I wanted to give a shout out and just a dad recommendation for Vampire Survivors co-op. So nice. Vampire Survivors, it might have been one of our games of the year. For one of the years that we had first discovered it. Like, we were just blown away by it. So much fun. Fantastic title. And they released a free update. Yeah, I didn't pay for it. A free update for co-op. So imagine, how it gets crazy when you're playing this game and you have the little sprite on screen that looks like it's from the 80s, and the entire thing is just filled up with zombies and particle effects as like you spread holy fire against the undead horde coming after you.
I do.
Well, imagine that with 4 people. It's just, and it's fantastic. So we decided to give it a shot. My kids had played a little bit of it on their own, and then it came out with co-op. So we decided one night or evening to play it out, and it was just a riot. Like, just laughing. Like, it's that perfect gaming, like, silliness, fantastic fun. It was so great. So I wanted almost to do it just as a PSA for everybody who might have shown this to their kids, who let them kind of seen it. The multiplayer version of it is just a riot. It is so much fun with the kids.
That's awesome. And do you share the gems that you collect, or does everyone kind of collect their own?
Yeah, so the way that as best I've been able to understand, I'm happy to be correct if anybody wants to write in and let me know otherwise, is that yeah, you share the gems and it's one level up at a time.
Okay.
So if there's 4 of you, like one, it's like kind of sequential, like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, and then it kind of continues. So there's no stealing of gems. So you can't just like hoard them all and your guy gets super powerful and you leave people behind. I like where your mind went. You knew exactly what was going to happen.
Okay. Because like in the game, there's that like magnet that pulls the gems to you. And I could just see, right? Like one of the younger ones be like, okay, haha, right? And all the gems go to them and they gain like 6 levels. Like,
it's so self-defeating. If we're not all powerful, we're all going to die. The whole point is teamwork. So you might have noticed, so as we stream this and for those watching live, in choosing your level, your power up, there's usually every now and then there's one option to level up a weapon for everybody.
Oh,
so that really gets more and more powerful because, for instance, if there's 3 of you, it kind of becomes a no-brainer because, like, okay, instead of 1 level for 1 weapon, why don't we get like a level each for 3? Literally tripled more of the power. So it tends to be pretty good co-op. The most thing I'm curious about, I don't know if I can pull this off, is the kids notice that it is up to 4 players. And they've been trying to insinuate, like, hey, do you think we can get mom to come down and play this? I'm like, my boy, I don't like that is an area I've been trying to breach for the entirety of our marriage. It's not ever gone well. There's never been an interest there. If we can somehow pull this off just to drag her into a game, it's a pretty good one as far as like, what do? You just walk around and don't get hit.
Yeah, that's
the game. It'll take care of the rest for you, basically. Feels like there might be an in.
That it could be an in. Like it's a good game for that, right? Like literally, there's no other buttons to press. You just walk around. Yeah,
and then we just tell, and the kids will yell at her what to like.
No, yeah. Well, that might.
In a good way, as far as which one do I get? That one, mom. That one. Blah. Yeah. I think it was nuts. I'll see if I can pull it off this week, and I'll report back.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, speaking of family and gaming surprises, all the other good things, you tried to have a nice gaming surprise moment with your kids, only to be kind of have the rug pulled out from under you.
Yeah. So I saw on Twitter that Celeste, the game, fantastic game for anyone that hasn't played it, awesome platformer. They were celebrating their, I think, 6th anniversary with like a free game development thing that they tried out to make Celeste 3D in like a Mario 64 style, very basic polygon stuff, right? So
that's right.
Celeste 64, and it's free on itch.io. By all means, go download it. And it's just, I think it's like a few levels kind of melded into one world, right? Just go nuts, right? I'm like, oh my God, my 10-year-old loves Celeste. Literally just beat it a few days ago by themselves, right? And I'm like, this is going to blow their mind because they were kind of talking about it at one point. They're like, what if they made it 3D? And I'm like, oh, that'd be pretty hard. I don't know if they could do that. So I discovered this thing late at night. I'm like, I'm not going to wake them up. Maybe I'll wake them up. No. I'll save it till tomorrow, right? So I'm hyped.
Yeah.
And then they're like, so the next day rolls around and I'm like, okay, I want to show you something. And they just looked at my phone and I'm waiting for the reaction. Like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, I know. I already saw this.
That's so like, I'm
like,
it's so crushing. It's like like the big reveal. Like your wife comes around the corner, the big video camera. Like, oh, say something, sweetie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw this a long time ago. They were, they were working with somebody and they were making it 3D. This is old stuff. I'm like, well, no, they just released it.
The Jeff balloon just deflates.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought I was making like cool gaming dad moments here. And nope, they knew more than me. And they're like, yeah, all this stuff happens in it. I'm like, okay, hold on. I haven't beaten it yet. Like,
don't tell me what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal. So isn't this cool? No.
Like, I already know about this. Cool.
Neat.
Good job.
Okay. Sorry to throw to a random memory, but this gave me a memory of one, like, just stuck in my heart for all of life. Is where like I had a similar disappointment with my mom, where she had a big surprise and like I just destroyed it. It was brutal.
Oh no!
So I think the States, so again, that we, as we record this, we're up in beautiful sunny Canada, snowy Canada.
Yeah.
And I think Americans also have Napoleon ice cream, right? The 3 flavored ice cream.
I think so.
Right? Maybe it's not called Napoleon, but like but everybody, I've seen it on The Simpsons, so I know that it exists. Yes. So, but this is the ice cream where it's chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
Yes.
So I was eating it as a kid, and I remember saying, it's like, oh man, strawberry is my favorite. I love strawberry. Strawberry is my favorite ice cream.
Okay.
And my mom, at some point or another, like the next day, like some weeks later, she comes into like the kitchen, and she's like, hey, I got you something. Like, what's your favorite ice cream? And I'm like, chocolate! And she's like, oh, I got some of that. And she, from like behind her desk, she had this tub of strawberry ice cream that she had bought specifically for me because I said it out of my stupid kid mouth.
Shattered.
Poor woman. She's like, oh, I got some of that. Then turns around and I could see the strawberry. Oh, for all of my life, I will carry that. That guilt. It was such a terrible moment. Yeah. Look, to be clear, she wasn't like she was crying or like she fell on the floor sobbing or anything, but still, I just
but you know that she was in the grocery store, she was in the frozen food section, and she's like, okay, you know what Trevor would love? Favorite ice cream, strawberry. There's a whole bucket here. It's not on sale. How about it's not on sale? It's actually expensive. I will get him this.
He's gonna love this forever.
He's gonna love this. He's gonna love me. This is gonna be a moment.
So I carry that remorse in my heart for the rest of my life. I'm not sure your kid is going to have any remorse about this.
I think they've already forgotten, Trevor. It's been a day.
they probably like made fun of you. It's like, hey, my old man was pulling up that video from like 3 weeks ago. Noob.
He says he has a gaming podcast. He doesn't know anything. I saw this like weeks ago.
God, he's so old. So embarrassing.
Your old dad. Old dad gaming podcast. What do you call it that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What do you cover? The news from last month? Cool. Or like last year.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. They don't think twice about it. So, that's me trying to get those gaming dad points. Didn't work this time.
All right. So we'll throw it to one last surprise of it. If Jeff, you could read the caption on the video.
You did not. Did you really?
I didn't. No. So what I got. So if you go ahead and read what's the caption on the video.
Trevor's got Steam on deck.
It's like, it's amazing. Like, so I wanted to ruin Jeff's day. God. So what I have was I don't know why I'm even bringing this on the podcast. I just find it hilarious. I really like saunas.
Maybe it's Steamdecks. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's right. The first thing, even as I was doing it, it's like, this is kind of like a Steam Deck. So I adore the sauna. I believe in I've done a lot of research on the health benefits of it. And, now that we're 40, we care about cholesterol levels and cognitive decline and all that good stuff. So, gym I previously went to, like, had a sauna. Now I don't have access to a sauna. And I'd like to include it as part of the healthy regimen. So then I decided to splurge and I got myself like a personal sauna unit. Now the worst part of it too. The worst part about this pun is it's not even steam; it's infrared.
It's okay.
So I really stretched this out to try to just get you going for one moment.
You really did, because I tried to get a visual of what you're talking about, and you have a visual on screen of this guy wrapped in like a case. I'm like, where's the steam then? Like, is it gonna like seep out, or is it like just shrinking?
So if anybody's now, these type of ones do come in Steam versions too, just to be clear. So what we're looking at, guys, is it is basically
luggage. It's luggage with a guy wrapped in luggage.
It's basically like sitting in a suitcase, and inside that suitcase you make it hot, and then you got yourself a little dad time steam room.
How much did you pay for this, Trevor? I could have whipped something up for you, and you like half the price.
It's like $250.
Okay,
it's right. That's a bit much, honestly. But I was really. It's like I really want to get this done. Like we're started 2024 strong. It's been going really great. We've been on a bit of a health kick, so like we've been good about going to the gym or eating better. And as far as the benefits of doing like steam or saunas, like it's well like documented. And it's like I just want this back. It's something I've missed ever since I lost it at my gym, and I want this back. So I went out and got it. Well, and the best part is and one of the good modes as far as like a gaming tie-in is on the particular version that I have. There's two little. So you again, like Jeff's really. You have to see it to understand it. It is just it is a personal sauna, and Jeff pinged it perfectly. It's basically like sitting in luggage and with your head poking out like a dork. It's great. But the one that I got has these 2 little zippers where you can like kind of stick your hands out. And guess what I hold in those hands, buddy?
Oh my God.
We're streaming Palworld as I sit.
Wow.
As I got sweat beaten down. I am in sauna heaven, and I'm sitting there just with 2 hands out, like going away at my streaming.
Okay. All I picture is like you in this. Okay, so you're in this suitcase. You're sweating. You got the game going. Whatever. Your kids come rumbling down. Open the door, and you're like, "Don't look at me.
Don't look at me." You'll get here too. You'll be this old once. Your knees will hurt.
Oh my God. Oh, this is great. This is like a Kojima boss. Like you're just locked in this suitcase.
Except for 2 hands.
Yeah.
With like little controls that you can press.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow,
I had to instruct them very specifically. It's like, do not play inside. This is not a beach time handy tent. This is a health instrument, okay? As I sit there playing Steamdeck on my Steam stream on my Steam.
Wow. Okay. I was not expecting this at all.
I know. It's so dumb. There's no way to look cool in this, but it's crazy effective, honestly. Like it's really good. Like surprisingly
nice.
so.
Okay. All right.
So, hey, anyways, dads, if you can look into like things like cold plunge and steam, saunas. There's some really good health benefits out there. We're all getting older. We need to stay healthy for kids. But what is fun about this is it also kind of ties into gaming because it's one of those, I like to do it nightly, and I'm just sitting there for like 20 to 30 minutes. Great time to stream on the phone.
It's very, very focused. Like you can't go anywhere. So
what else am I'm locked in a very hot suitcase. What else am I supposed to do?
Go.
It's a perfect time. Let's catch up. Let's get some knockoff Pokemon.
That's perfect. Yeah.
All right, everybody. So from your hot by external temperature dad Trevor and your non-surprising Jeff, thank you so much for listening to this episode. This has been New Dad Gaming. As we mentioned on the hop, if you enjoyed the show, what really does help us out is if you subscribe and leave a like and a comment on any of the platforms. You can find the podcast on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, anywhere we get your podcasts. Just search for New Dad Gaming. A subscription, a like, and a comment helps us out greatly. If you have any stories, hey, do you enjoy a good sauna? Do you enjoy a good steam while doing a Steam Deck?
There you go.
Have you tried Vampire Survivors, or have you introduced Palworld to your kid? We'd love to hear all these stories. We had a great story last week from Gaming Dad Chad. We'd love to keep that continuing. So reach out to us. newdadgaming.com or at newdadgaming on all the socials. Absolutely love to hear from you guys. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. And until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. Jeez.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and not a Steam Deck in a Steam case.
Steam on Steam, buddy. It's just like, what do you do when you're getting a Steam? I do a little Steam decking. I see.
People are trying to push it in their mind. Like, what? How does this work?
Steam on Steam. So you're in a little box, and you take your other little gaming box. You stick your hands out of the Steam box to grab the Steam box to play Steam and have a great old dad time.
Yeah. Report back.
Super healthy. He wilted to nothing because he got into a really good session at Palworld and forgot to get out. I weigh 100 pounds now. All right, everyone. Thanks once again. Just remember, just because you became a dad
does not mean this game over.